The end had come. They asked each other, "What is your final wish?" They all wished to be reborn 7 times, so they could continue to serve the emperor and destroy his enemies. This final pledge of loyalty was Shichisho Hokaku, serving the nation through 7 lives. With this, they took their own lives. Kusunoki was just 42 years old. His death was a tragedy, the end of a brilliant military career, all for a battle he knew he couldn't win. So the story seems clear, right? A loyal samurai follows his lord's foolish command to his death. This is the version told for centuries why he became a national hero. But here's where things get complicated. Remember the Taiheki, the chronicle giving us these dramatic details? It's not a straightforward historical document. It's a literary epic, written decades after the events, filled with heroic speeches and dramatic scenes. Many historians believe it promoted a political agenda, more like historical fiction. How much is true? How much invention? Did he propose that strategy? Did the emperor reject it? Did Kusunoki and his brother have that poetic exchange? This is the great unknown. Few contemporary sources describe these events in such detail. Scholars argue the story of Kusunoki's advice and the emperor's rejection might have been invented. It makes the emperor look foolish, but Kusunoki a tragic, brilliant hero betrayed by incompetence. A perfect narrative. The 7 Lives pledge might be a later addition to emphasize supernatural loyalty. What we know for sure is he fought and died for the emperor at Minatogawa. The why and how are filtered through a masterful storyteller. The historical Kusunoki might have been pragmatic. Perhaps he didn't see it as noble sacrifice, but the only honorable path for a warrior cornered by his enemy. The real man's thoughts are lost to time, replaced by a powerful and enduring legend. The defeat at Minatogawa was a disaster for the imperial cause. With Kusunoki gone, Go-Daigo lost his commander. He was forced to flee Kyoto, and Ashikaga Tekafuji installed a rival emperor, establishing his shogunate. This led to the Nanboku-cho period, the age of the northern and southern courts vying for legitimacy. Kusunoki's family, led by his son Mazatsura, continued to fight for Go-Daigo's southern court. They fought bravely for years, but the tide of history was against them. The southern court's cause faded. The Ashikaga shogunate solidified its control. For a time, Kusunoki's sacrifice seemed in vain. His side had lost the war. For centuries, Kusunoki was respected but controversial. He was a tragic hero, but also an enemy of the court by the victorious northern court and Ashikaga shogunate. His story was kept alive through the Taiheki, but he wasn't the national icon he would later become. That changed during the Edo period, a time of peace under the Tokugawa shogunate. Neo-Confucian scholars, reinforcing social order, latched onto Kusunoki's story. For them, his absolute loyalty to the emperor, even a flawed one, was the ultimate virtue. He became the perfect example of a vassal's duty to his lord. Thinkers like Yamaga-soko elevated him. He was no longer just a warrior. He was a moral paragon, the embodiment of righteousness and selfless devotion. This veneration reached its peak during the Meiji Restoration in the late 19th century. The new government needed national symbols to unify the country around the restored Emperor Meiji. Kusunoki Masashige was the perfect candidate. His story of unwavering loyalty was the message they wanted. He was posthumously pardoned and elevated to the highest ranks, becoming a kami, a god, in state Shinto. Shrines were built, most famously Minatogawa Shrine. His story was taught to every schoolchild. Shichisho Hokaku became a powerful rallying cry, especially for the military. The image of Kusunoki bidding farewell to his son became one of the most famous scenes, used to promote sacrifice and patriotism. But here, the true man gets completely lost. The Meiji government and later militarists stripped away all nuance from his story. They didn't care about his brilliant guerrilla tactics or his potential identity as an Akudo. They needed a simple, powerful symbol, a man who obeyed without question, who sacrificed himself. This version of Kusunoki, the one-dimensional symbol of blind loyalty, was used to justify militarism. Kamikaze pilots saw themselves as modern-day Kusunokis. The symbol of loyalty had been twisted. After the war, Kusunoki's status became complicated.
My son,
His story was seen as part of a militaristic ideology. For a while, his name was almost taboo. But as Japan rebuilt, a more balanced view emerged. People looked past propaganda, rediscovering the man, brilliant strategist, underdog, loving father, and the man of principle trapped in an impossible situation. Today, he's remembered in a nuanced way. The bronze statue outside the Imperial Palace in Tokyo is iconic. It represents integrity, cleverness, and the tragic conflict between duty and reason, a man who chose honor as he understood it. So, who was the real Kusunoki Masashige? The perfect, loyal samurai? Or a pragmatic guerrilla leader? The truth, as it often does, probably lies somewhere in between. What's undeniable is his military genius. His tactics were centuries ahead of their time. He understood intelligence, logistics, psychological warfare. He was an innovator, a master of asymmetric warfare. But it is his loyalty that has defined him. It's the story of his final, tragic choice that has captured the imagination for nearly 700 years. Perhaps the most fascinating fact isn't about his battles, but how his legacy was shaped and reshaped. His story shows us how history is written by victors, but also rewritten by later generations. He has been a rebel, a tragic hero, a Confucian saint, a nationalist god, and a symbol of militarism. Each era created its own Kusunoki, reflecting its values. The search for the real man continues. Buried under layers of legend, literature, and propaganda, heroes are often more complex than we think. The line between history and myth can be very thin. The symbol of loyalty is also how we use the past. Kusunoki Masashige remains an enigma, a historical figure whose true personality is forever obscured by legend. But that's what makes him so compelling. He wasn't just a character. He was a real person who faced an impossible choice and met his end with resolve that has inspired generations. Whether you see him as a strategist, tragic hero, or a symbol of loyalty, his story is profound. A look into the heart of the samurai spirit and the turbulent age he lived in. And it leaves us with a haunting question: what would you do if duty conflicted with reason? It's a question that Kusunoki answered with his life. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you found the story of Kusunoki Masashige as fascinating as I do. There's always more to learn. If you have any thoughts or interesting facts, please share them in the comments below. I love reading them. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most compelling figures. See you in the next one.